Today we are going to make an A-line gown, a long maxi A-line gown. So I have my fabric here, I have my scissors, I have my tape measure, I have my chalk. So how do we do this? We have done something on an A-line skirt before. So this A-line gown is just the combination of a basic blouse which we have done before and the basic skirt that we have done before, just the combination of the two to form a gown. So but this time around it's going to be a little bit different because we have done something on how to shape the A-line skirt using the hip measurement. But this time around we are going to fold this fabric on bias. This is just to tell us the several ways to make an A-line skirt. We don't have to use the shaping every time. We can also fold it on bias. So now what I've done here, my first step is that I have my fabric laid on the floor. I'm using the floor this time because my table is very small, it can't take this fabric, and I want you to watch every aspect of it, how we fold the fabric. So now I have the fabric just folded into half and I place it on the floor. It's of 4 yards of fabric, but we can't use everything finished because after using this fabric for the skirt, we have enough fabric for the blouse, which we are going to make as well. So now I have my fabric laid on the floor. What I'm going to do now is this tip of my fabric here, I'm just going to place it like this, just to create a triangular shape. The more you place, the more you spread, the more you have. So I'm going to place it this way. So now it's now on 4 folds. So this is what I'm going to use for the skirt. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to measure the cutter of my waist. The cutter of my waist is my waist is 32. The cutter will give me 8 because it's on 4 folds. That's why I'm using the cutter. And the skirt will start from the waist. The blouse will stop at the waist and the skirt will be joined to the blouse at the waistline. So that is why we are using this. And it's not going to be exactly the waistline, it's going to be like 1 inch above the navel, so that the skirt, the blouse, the gown will look very fit. Now I'm going to place my tape measure now on the floor. I'm going to measure 8 inches, but I'm not going to use the exact 8 inches. The reason why is because we need a zipper allowance. There's going to be a zip at the back, so I'm going to add 1 inch to it to make it 9. So I'm going to look for where 9 starts from. Then I'm going to take my chalk it down. Then I'm going to measure the length of my desired skirt. So the length of my desired skirt is 40 inches. I'm going to use 40, but I'm not going to use exactly 40. I'm going to add 1 inch to it to make it 41. So I have 41 here, and I'm going to go further. 41. So I'm just going to show that what if we do not understand the way it's being folded on the floor. So I have to use a small fabric just to extend the folding so that we won't have any problem with the A-line skirt. So that is why I have this my little fabric here, which is I'm not going to cut it. I'm just going to show you how it's being folded. So I have this fabric, I just fold it into half widthwise, I place it on the floor. Then I'm going to take this tip of fabric here, this edge of the fabric, the bottom part here, then I'm going to place it like this, such that we have a triangular shape. So we have it here. So the next thing to do is to measure where the A-line skirt will start from. It's going to start from the waist. So I'm going to divide my waist width, which is 32, divided by 4, since it's on 4 folds. So 32 divided by 4, I'm going to have 8 inches. But I'm not going to use exactly 8 inches. I'm going to add seam allowance because of the zipper. So I'm going to measure, let's say I measure 9 inches because of the zipper allowance. So this is where it's going to start. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to measure down the required length let's say my length for my skirt is 20 inches. I'm just going to measure 20. Make sure I measure round 20 so that I'm not going to have a mistake. So join it, then I'm going to measure 20 again, join it, measure, join it, then I'm going to measure 20 here, then I'm going to join it here. Then after which I'm going to take my scissors, then cut it out. Then we have the A-line skirt. That is all about an A-line skirt using the bias folding method, and I hope you understand it. So now let's make our basic blouse that will fit into the A-line skirt. So that we're going to form a basic blouse. I have my fabric here. So the basic blouse will be for the A-line skirt. So we join both together to make an A-line gown. So I have my fabric. It's over it's just a little scrap of fabric which I took from the A-line skirt earlier. So I have this. I have 51 inches width. So now, how do we decide the amount of fabric needed? I am very sure we'll be able to do that by now, but let's take the revision again. Since we are making a blouse, we are going to use the bust. And why are we using the bust? Because the bust is the widest part of the fabric, of the upper part of the body. And for our client here, our bust is 36 inches. So 36 plus we have two sides. We have the right side and the left side. We have the front and the back. So for the front bodies we have two sides. For the back bodies we have two sides. So we have 2 plus 2, we have 4 sides, and we have the zipper allowance, which we have 2 mouth for the zipper allowance. So we have 2 for the zipper allowance to 2 plus the 4, that make it 6. So how much fabric, how much seam allowance is required depends on you. But if you're a beginner and you are scared of making a mistake, you can use 2 inches as a fixed seam allowance. Most times I use 2 inches. So now you measure your 2 inches. That means you're going to give each side 2 inches, and we have 6 sides all in all. So 6 multiplied by 2, we have 12 inches. So this 12 inches will be added to 36, which is the bust. So 36 plus 12, I have 48 inches. So that means that my fabric here must be 48 inches wide before I can make a blouse. So I have this my fabric now. I'm now going to fold it into half to measure the length. So I'm going to measure the length of my blouse. So the length of my blouse will help me to determine. This is what we need. So the blouse now, the length of the blouse will help us to determine the length that we need for the fabric here, since we've talked about the width. So now, for my own fabric, for our client, our upper blouse will be 15 inches. It's going to stop 1 inch above the navel. So I'm going to measure, instead of measuring 15, I'm going to measure 15 and a half. The reason why is for seam allowance, for joining allowance. So I want to straighten out this upper part of the blouse. It was not cut straight. You have to take a look at everything before cutting so that you don't have mistakes. So now we're going to measure the length of the blouse, which I'm going to measure here, 15 and a half. So we cut this out. So we have this. Now we can unshape out. The first thing we are going to do is to separate the front and the back bodies. The front is 4 inches wider than the back bodies, so I'm going to measure 4 inches out. well, I'm using 2 inches. The reason why I'm using 2 inches is because the fabric is already being unfolded. So 2 plus 2 will give us 4. So it will be 4 inches wider at the end of the day. So after this, we fold each bodice into half widthwise. Folding the front, fold the back, and place it on top of each other. Then we have this. Now, the next thing to do is to measure the across back. My across back is 8 inches. So I'm going to measure 8 inches for the across back. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to measure the neckline depth. I want my neckline to be 5 inches deep. So I'm going to, and the width, then the neckline width, I'm going to use 4 inches for my width. Then I'm going to create a round neck. That is what I want. So the next thing to do on this 8 inches here, then if you want it to be very fitted, you can reduce your across back by half. So I'm going to reduce mine by half. So I'm having 3.5 here. So I'm going to measure 1.5 down. That is for the slant, shoulder slant. So I'm just going to slant down. This is just a guideline for me. So I have this. So from my shoulder slant where this across back ends, I'm going to measure my armhole. My armhole depth, I'm using 8.25. Then 8.5, which is the quarter of the bust. The bust is 36 divided by half. Divided by 4, we have 9 inches. But we subtract 0.5 for our bust from our bust hack, so we have 8.5. So then on this armhole, I'm going to measure my bust width. My bust width is 36 divided by 4 will give me 9. Then I'm adding 2 inches seam allowance to it. I have 11. So this is where my armhole will be. So I'm now going to join the armhole to the one here, to the shoulder. So we have this. Then I'm going to go down, measure my waist. My waist is 32 divided by 4 will give me 8. I'm adding 2 seam allowance, 2 inches seam allowance, so I'm having 10. So I'm going to join this together. Then we shape out. So after this, you can determine on the type of bust the type of darts that we want. You can use a basic dart. So we're going to use a basic dart for this. So the basic dart will stop at 1 inches, under 1 inches after the armhole. So this is it. You can sew the bust. You can just sew your dart and you can cut it out. It all depends on you. So I'm going to cut my out. So now I'm going to measure my across my point to point, which is 7.5. Half of this is 3.75. So I'm going to use that, square up. Then how much dart intake that I want. I'm going to use 0.5 for my 1 inches for my dart intake. That means it's going to be 0.5 on each side that are across here. That I just, this line here is what I'm talking about. So this is just from here to here is 3.75, which is the half of my bust point to point. So I'm now going to square down. I squared up from this point here. Then I measure is 0.5 on each side because I want my dart intake to be 1 inches. So I have this now. Then I'm going to create a rectangular like for my darts. Then I'm going to cut it out. So we have this. So this is all about the basic blouse. So we take it to the sewing machine now, join it together, then join the blouse to the A-line skirt. I hope you understand it, and I hope you're going to try it out. Please do try it out, ask questions, see you in the next